The match engine on Football Manager 23 feels different, doesn't it? So I decided, well, what better way to approach dealing with some of these changes on the match engine than by crafting a back five system for a club in France. Yes, on today's show, we start a series where we look at Marseille. We are about to create a system for them. We are an inexperienced manager taking over at a club that's expected to do quite well in France. This is going to be challenging. Why? When your manager has a reputation that is lower than some of the players, you better deliver results because it's pretty easy for you to lose your job. Looking at Marseille, I think we made the right choice picking this club. As you can see, your assistant manager, when you join a club for the first time, they make a couple of recommendations as to the kind of systems that the side can play. And immediately they give us a back five system. So I've gone in, set up my training schedules. That's pretty straightforward. Then I've gone to each of these players and I identified the weaknesses. And I'm going to address them. Like here, we've got Papagoe, ball winning midfielder on defense. That's what I want him to train as because I need his concentration to go up. This is simple. It just focuses on those attributes I think that are critical. If I'm looking at a tactic, I need to define the spine. These are the players that go up and come down, right? They help the team when they're attacking. They help the team when they're defending. All those players will need anticipation and concentration. They also need work rate and stamina. So these are the hardworking grunt players in my team. And those attributes are going to be critical. So whenever I find any potential player who's playing in a support or a defend duty who doesn't have those abilities or rather doesn't have those attributes, I'm going to train them. Yeah, and you know, if you've been to any of my streams, how much I like doing this, yes, there is no chance those players are going to skip out on training. I don't want this to be, look, we can make one tactic with this team. No, we want to understand the kind of options that are possible with the tactic. So on today's show, I'm going to create a tactical system. I'm going to show you how you can, with a few changes in your team instructions, change things around. So tactically, what are we going to do? Okay, I'm going to start with something really simple, right? This is the Helios system that we have in the Dropbox folder. Now it's got 3 strikers, and then we basically attack down the flanks with 2 wing backs, and then we have support duties here. The white center backs actually come up the pitch here to help us support play as they go forward. Of course, if you want this to be very attacking, a very attacking tactic, you can always ask these guys to stay back. You know, don't do anything, just be central defenders, right? Now here, this is generally a very defensive system. We can easily make this into a high possession centric system as well. All we got to do is change the team instructions. For now, what I plan to do is I plan to create one tactic, and then from that one tactic, we'll get options, right? So we'll start with this one. Of course, then we have a problem with Cengiz Under, right? How do we fit him into the system? I mean, Cengiz can play in the center, right? Amin Harit also can play in the center. They've got quite a few players that can play in these positions. This team can play quite a few systems. It's up to you really to decide what you want to play, but we're going to try this back five system first. Preseason is a great chance for me to try out my systems to see how they would play. Now here, this is a bit more direct. I want to hit teams. And I mean, basically, this is a very, I'm not too interested in possession when it comes to this tactic. The second tactic is a lot more about control, about possession. The interesting thing is why have I got this role configuration here. Now, normally when we play like a 5-2-1-2, I kind of like to have roles that drift out wide, right? So they can support the wing backs. In this particular case, I want to try something different. Here we've got pressing forward. We've got a pressing forward attack. They're going to put a lot of pressure on defenders. We've got an AP who's going to, basically drift around these areas. Now, whenever I set up use a role that doesn't move into channels, I don't expect him to go wide. I expect him to drop and then attack the central areas. This allows this wing back to dominate these flanks. And it's exactly how we scored this goal here. Here we have a transition. We win the ball. This is what I want to see my pressing forward do. I don't want him to be out here running this way. So he beats the player, comes back inside, and then goes on to score the goal. That is what I'm going to get with the pressing forward. I want those kind of simple transition events. In preseason, you have 2 options. Try your tactics or go out for a morale boost, right? So morale boost, normally we pick some body that we can whip and we score 10, 15 goals again so we can get our players happy. And then there are times when I'm trying a tactical system out and I want to pick decent size for friendly so we can see where we stand in terms of our movement. As I'm playing this friendly, I make more changes. I change the two ball-playing defenders to wide center backs because while we have the center where we have a ball-winning midfielder and a DLP, I do want us to use the full width of the pitch here. Got wing back attacking this way, got wing back attacking this way. I want to create transitions where I have runners attacking the center, especially against these deep-seated defenses. So yeah, wing back comes into our DLP, our wide center back, our wing back create possession heavy. It's something happening on this side. Then we move the ball to the center. Here you notice my pressing forward is dropped deep. Then our ball winning midfielder shifts forward, and then we get the runs, the space for the runs. Here, this striker is onside because he's been put on by this player. The ball goes over the top. He gets inside, scores a simple goal. It's movements like this that I'm after. Then I'm looking for this to, repeat itself in other transitions as well. Here, you see, this is when we just win the ball. Notice the one pressing forward is already attacking the space between the two defenders. Another one is moving up. I changed the role here to a shadow striker because I wanted to try a shadow striker. This is one of the reasons why I like playing friendlies against good teams. So here, you will notice the team is splitting and they start to move wider. The wing backs have gone into their wider positions. As this ball moves here, I'm looking for this player to come here. And then we see the runs from the center. Here, the Tavares wing back goes in. Now you see the wide center back is moved in this position. I will almost get like a nice wedge formed over here. Then the pressing forward drops here. The other pressing forward this is actually the other pressing forward. And here's our shadow striker. Pressing forward drops deep. The covering defender is here. And then we get the wing back moving down the pitch. Now, I like this because this gives us good control of the pitch. And now another pass switching over to the wing back on this side of the pitch. He turns back, plays it back to the ball-winning midfielder. Ball-winning midfielder finds the playmaker together. They look to unlock this side here. Now our wide centre back is moved all the way up here to help us with the transition. So this is something that I'm considering using for the season. We fine-tune our system slightly. And we managed to beat Fenerbahce in the friendly. So now our tactic is slightly different. It will change a few times during preseason because I'm looking for these kind of transitions. So we got wide centre back, covering defender, complete wing back. Now we're using underlaps, both ball to box. Tempo is shorter and slightly lower with the passing director, so shorter, be more expressive. This is a very, very possession-centric system. Now, whether I can pull it off against all teams, I don't know. We have another system here that I can switch to when I am faced with that kind of a situation where the I don't know has become something I have to answer. And we can use this against teams who are putting us under a lot of pressure, not allowing us to build play out from the back. Then I've got these two wing backs bombing up the pitch. I've got DLP ball winning midfielder and got three here. Strike force with a pressing forward attack, pressing forward on support, and a shadow striker. So we've sorted out our tactic. Now let's start playing a couple of games for the regular season. So I left everything to my ass man. Didn't work out very well for us. He lost the next two matches, which doesn't bode very well for me for the first game of the season, but I still intend to continue with this system. And we are playing against a similar system, but they're going to be sitting back. This is what I like about this system, right? So, okay, if that formation is going to be sitting back, we're going to be hoping to put a lot of pressure on them and not let their two DMs come out. Now, as we go in, I'm also going to apply opposition instructions. Okay, so first we'll do the team talk. Then we come in here, we're going to do an opposition instruction, and we're going to apply pressing instructions to the back line. I'm also going to keep these wing backs on the flanks. So wing back on the right, show him to the right, and show the other guy to the left. Already into the first 10 minutes, we're already dominating possession. Encourage my players straight away. Paye with the free kick, testing the keeper. We get our first corner. I haven't really set up the set pieces. Ball goes in. We recycle possession. Possession is still ours. Now, these two roles, I might change them from complete wingbacks to wingbacks, because complete wingbacks, they tend to roam around quite a fair bit. I mean, I'm not saying that they will end up in, funny areas of the pitch. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to change this guy to a wingback on attack. And change this guy to a wingback on attack. Now we've got a throw Klaus. The wingback plays it to the ball-winning midfielder, and we score our first goal from the other wingback. The other wingback is on the other side of the pitch. So I like short throws. These are, in my opinion, some of the most effective throws in the game. And there we go with the first goal. Still having 66% possession. That's decent. We're keeping the ball fairly well. Now we go wingback, ball-winning midfielder. They move the ball around quite well. That's what we want to see. There's no need to go on high tempo here. Another thing I can do against a defensive system is this. I don't wait for them to get into goal. I don't wait for them to set themselves up for to defend. So we can hit the early cross. The moment the players get into position, if the crossing opportunity presents itself, our players do the early cross. The movement is pretty good. Wingback gets into the area and we score a second goal. So this is before hit early crosses has come into play. I like wingbacks and I love the underlap instruction because it will encourage them. When you give an underlap instruction to a wingback, it affects the initial positioning. They'll be slightly higher. You have a higher mentality. That's really what I'm after. And I'd rather just do the underlap. Because if he's the widest player, he'll hold on to the ball looking for another run. And it's a third goal as the team continues to score. So it's a set piece goal. This is a poor clearance from Balugan. And Alexis Sanchez from outside the area scores. So the reason why I like tactics like this, right? The intensity isn't that aggressive. The tempo is low, but still, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not going to lower mentality. I'm just going to leave it this way because when you're playing it on positive mentality, your team and passing instructions are still quite short. Maybe we can just bring this down to cautious if we wanted to. This will shift our defensive line, our line engagement slightly lower, but it shouldn't create too many issues. At about this time of the game, 70th minute, is normally when I make my substitutions. So here we can look at bringing on, Bamba Dieng, give him some game time. Papa Gue for Guendouzi. Maybe Cengiz Under for Dimitri Payet. This is a configuration. So the thing is, whenever I'm playing this kind of systems which have two midfielders, I like to make sure that the two midfielders, at least one of them is fresh. Long kick out again. They're not given many easy chances. Just kicking from the back, going at our defenders. It's not too bad. They defend it really well. Bamba Dieng, the pressing forward comes back. The white centre back, and it's another goal. Yeah, it's pretty simple. The white centre back here pushing up. And then he plays the pass forward. The wing back gets away and then finds the pressing forward. This is the reason why I love the pressing forward and the pressing, the roll, because they are phenomenal in FM23. So first game of the season, it's a simple win, 65% possession. That's not too bad. Pretty easy game for us. I mean, we are ranked. We are one of the top teams in the league, right? So I shouldn't have any problems beating these. I forgot to point this out. The last goal that we scored was from an early cross. That's the reason why I have it. Sometimes against teams that might want to sit back, the early cross is a great choice if you want to hit them before they get into a defensive posture. So our tactic has changed slightly. Now we're using wingbacks instead of complete wingbacks. It's fine. Nothing very much of the tactic is going to change after this. Here, again, some teams I might drop a ball into box for hit early cross, as you saw in the last game. Hold shape, counter press, we can keep it going. And this, we can keep this going as well. There's no reason for me to change this. I mean, we could, in some matches where I'm not too sure, just drop this slightly more because balls over the top could be an issue. As you saw earlier in that game, we had a few situations where there was a ball over the top. I'm not going to take a chance in this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my defensive line, just make it higher. And I expect this other team to try. So I'm going to, this time, we're going to just start hit early cross straight away. We could change this to a target man on support if I had that kind of a play in the team. But we'll stick to this for now. And then we'll play against a 4-3-3 from Brest. We are playing away. And I definitely want a good result again here. We go into the opposition instructions. This time I'm going to do it slightly differently. We're going to show this guy to the left foot and we're going to show this guy to the right foot. Why? Because I want them to come inside, force the ball to these players, and then we will hard tackle them in the center. We don't want them cutting inside. I don't have a DM to protect the center, so we're going to weak foot these players, and I'm going to tight mark him as well. All right, done. Let's go play the game. So once again, I'm going to wait until the 10th or the 15th minute before I use my first shout. Already we've got 77% possession. We are putting a lot of pressure on this team. And immediately our wingback gets the first shot on target. Corner now from Dimitri Payet. Yeah, I don't really care about my corner routines at the moment. If I wanted to get better possession, I probably wouldn't use hit early cross, but I'm just using this at the moment. There we go. One nice ball out to Nuno Tavares. He crosses the ball. Keeper can barely keep it in. We could also tell this striker, these two players to go wider. Now I'm going to tell this player to be a pressing forward attack. Now what's going to happen is these two guys are going to run the channels. We got Alexis. Now he's gone wide. He's actually encouraged one of the players up. Klaus again. He's gone wide again. He creates a space in the center. So we got both of the two strikers not getting into the area. So this is why I changed his role from a pressing forward and support. He would have been central here. Now by moving him as a pressing forward attack, he actually comes out. By coming out, we've created a 2-on-1 here. Second game, and we won this. They only had 2 shots, but none on target. But a quick change to one of our roles allowed us to unlock that stubborn defense. So for some reason, the data hub doesn't give us information on the next opposition, but you get it in the opposition report. Don't ask me why. It's just one of those quirks in Football Manager 23. I hope SI will one day fix. They're playing a 4, or rather a 7, a 7-1. Yeah, we'll call this a 7-1 because they got 7 players in their own half, right? Okay, so they got DM, ball winning midfielder, wing back. This is going to be a very stubborn team to break down. When I see 2 inverted wingers with an advanced forward, it just is a warning for me. This team is going to hit from the deeper areas of the pitch. You got inverted wingers looking for the advanced forward. We have to be careful in this game. Okay, I'm gonna put them under pressure. We're gonna start this game by sitting in their half and then hit the early cross. It seems a bit risky, but why am I doing this? They've got 7 players at the back, right? I don't want to wait for them to get back into defensive positions. All right, opposition instructions. Once again, we want these guys to stay on the flanks, right? So they'll stay on the flanks. We'll weak foot this guy and tight mark him all the time. Here, this player, we want him to come inside. We don't want him to go down the flank, so we're turning them inside. And here, this player, we're going to tackle them hard. And for these players, we're going to trigger a press whenever they have the ball. So that's another way of doing things quite easily. I mean, yeah, I tend to do this for different kinds of formations. I have different little setups of different formations. And now we go in, send the assistant, and off we go. Hopefully, we win this game too. Once again, looking at the possession numbers, the reason why our possession numbers are so good is because this double DM. We are in their half, so I want to take advantage of the way. I don't want their formation coming out. So again, we got Mbemba, ball winning midfielder. Klaus gets in. Oh, that's a simple sweet goal, but I think it's offside. The 2 strikers got to learn how to stay onside. Oh, it's awarded. It's a great goal. They broke the offside trap together, holding hands. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this guy is onside, so he's onside. That's a square pass, so he's not offside. Oh, beautiful goal. Marseille scoring very quickly against Nantes. We're going to keep this. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to leave it the way it is. The reason why those opposition instructions are handy is because you're forcing their players to play the style of football that is best suited to how you want to defend, right? So that's how I play. And the reason why this 5-2-1-2 can be very, very potent is because if you have wingbacks and you have given them the underlap instruction, it encourage their starting position is actually up slightly higher. And well, you get these kind of nice little things. They get in there, they try and score goals. Why did I? This is the reason why I went from complete wingback to the wingback. I kind of like him because he doesn't roam. The wingback does. So sometimes they're not in that kind of a position to score goals. And it's another breakaway, and your keeper is forced into making a save. Dimitri Payet now with the corner. Yes, don't worry, Mike. If you create this, I'm sure you're going to create some fantastic corner routines on your own, right? Our possession numbers keep inching up. If I want to, I can make these numbers go even higher, but we're not gonna game the system. We'll just keep doing what we're doing to break this team down and score more goals and make them depressed. Okay. We'll start the second half with 2-0 up. Luis Suarez, our striker and our wingback have scored. Payet, Klaus, ball-winning midfielder. Okay, our defenders have to get back into position. It's a good idea to set your set pieces up so that they come back efficiently. Guendouzi, here's a white centre back. A nice ball from the ball-winning midfielder in this case, right? This is a ball-winning midfielder. He's got killer passes. He comes deep to get the ball, which supports this team, so he doesn't go running off, which is not too bad. I guess with this ball-winning midfielder, if you play him with he comes deep to get the ball, it kind of secures the two. You get a nice double pivot, right? So he goes down and up. So in this case, if he ever comes deep to get the ball, make sure he's got high work rate, because you need him to do a lot of work. He's going to come deep. Then as a ball-winning midfielder support, he's going to be quite high up the pitch, trying to win the ball. You better have a lot of stamina. Oh, nice breakaway. It's another goal for. There's no, we're not wasting any time here, right? They're all hit early cross. Great against very defensive systems. Well, ball into box can be useful, but here early cross is very effective against all these very deep-seated formations. So we've got our wing back, and he's been working very hard. He's now getting injured. We got Issa Kabore. I think we can bring him on. He's back. Okay. All right. Now I think we can give Cengiz Under, the journeyman, a chance to play a couple of matches. Did manage him a long time ago when Turkish team, right? Oh, another goal. 5. We can have a leisurely conversation now. So 5-0 up against Nantes. And that's done it. So 3 games in, 72% possession versus their 28. Momentum was pretty solid. We created a lot of good goal scoring opportunities. And that was a good win against a tactic that is sitting deep, right? So that was a good performance from the boys. We generally attempt about 700 to 750 passes per game. And we've got a very high pass completion ratio as well. So this tells me that we're on track to create 2 things. My goal was to create a possession-centric system, but we must have the ability to mix and match whenever we go into different games. So here, this is the tactic, right? So this is the simple tactic that we've created. Some games, you notice I changed this role to a pressing for an attack when I found it really difficult to score. So this guy drifts out because we know he's going to drift into the channels. This creates space for the shadow striker to come in and be a nuisance. Then we've got a double pivot here, which is a very aggressive pivot because it plays in the final third, right? Because of this role, this ball-winning midfielder on support. Now, if he actually comes in with this, comes deep to get the ball, which helps us out as well. So this actually helps us recycle play from the back, gives the white centre back some options to pass the ball to when we bring the ball out from defense. We went with a wing back early, complete wing back earlier, but now I'm using a wing back. Of course, it's only marking tighter, and he's now injured. There are no funny PIs. We got Mark Taita here. There's no PIs on these guys, and there's no PIs on these guys. There's no PIs. Only roll from position on this player, and other than that, nothing else. But meanwhile, this is something that we can do. I mean, here, this is a more defensive version. Here, the white centre backs don't really push up so much, right? So we get these 3, and we depend on these 2 guys to run the channels. there's no play out from defense because I'm expecting teams to attack me, and I will use this formation when I'm playing against teams like PSG and in Europe against better teams. I so wanted to stop at 3 matches, and then guess what happened? Next game we're playing a 4-2-4, and this is going to be one situation where I have to change the tactics slightly. So I thought, hey man, just let's keep the show going. So we're going to just change things slightly. We're going to put Baledi here. Okay, these are the players. We're going to remove the underlap and the underlap. Play out a defense. The play out defense might be a problem right now, but we're going to still try and play out a defense against this team. We're not going to hit the early. We're going to hit the early cross for sure. So against this 4-2-4, I'm going to start out like that. We're going to hold shape counter press. Continue doing what we normally do. And let's go see how this team plays. A simple 5-2-3. The idea here is for us to control some part of the formation, some part of the so here, not doing too badly. We managed to snuff out one of the attacks. Now I'm just paying attention to the build-up play. We're not trying too many fancy things. Yeah, we're keeping enough. We have the wing back on attack. It's got up the pitch. The playmakers have come back to support play. Here's the other wide center back, plays it up. The wing back, there's enough support into the area. We get one goal scoring opportunity. Okay, I just saw a transition. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to focus play left and right. I've noticed that we build the play up very well when the central midfielders shift to that side of the focus, which is what focus play does. Focus play shifts the central midfielders to the side of the focus so that it's easier for you to build up play. This is going to put even more pressure on their fullbacks, right? So whenever we have the ball, but it does create space down the flanks. That's a good opportunity for them. Good work down the center. Okay, and then they try to come through the middle. Good defending. All right, I noticed something that I didn't do in this game, which I normally do in every single game. I apply opposition instructions. I didn't do it this time. So we're going to trigger a press on the back line. Right. Okay. Right, there's a trigger on the press on the back line. Then the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to hard tackle the two in the center. We're also going to show onto weak foot. So not weak foot. I'm going to show him inside, and I'll show the other fullback out inside as well. Then we show the wingers out, and then we weak foot the striker and tight mark him at the same time. And then in the center with these two are not going to, we're going to attack. Tactics, we also have something here. Hold shape, counter press. We're doing okay in terms of this. We're not going to hit the early cross. I'm just going to keep the possession as much as I can. We want to build play up slightly. Okay, we've got a corner, and we've scored a goal from a corner. That's something, considering the fact I haven't really bothered with set piece routines in this game. All right, this is easy. Far post. Okay, we can now start work ball into box and go for low crosses. It's a bit dangerous to do this, especially if you're not sure, because work ball into box, if it fails in this stage of the game where you're in the final third, you could easily give the opposition a goal scoring opportunity. Yeah, so you gotta be careful with work ball into box. I normally don't do it if I don't have the players for it. So now we've got Nuno Tavares on a yellow. We're in the 55th minute. I think I need to put players in here who can do the job, at least in the center of the park. Right, so we can bring Valentin Rongier and the youngster Gue. Dante Turum. There's Gue winning the ball as the ball-winning midfielder. Paye finds the wing back, and we score a brilliant second goal. Fresh legs on the pitch, always a good option for you in the 60th minute, right? So we've done this. Great goal. And at this point in time, we're just stretching because they've got wing backs. It's going to be tougher for this formation to play. The thing about me and formations like the 4-2-4 is I like to soak for the first part because they will tire. Those wingbacks will get tired. The central midfielders will get tired. And towards the later half of the match, you will see them making more and more mistakes. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add one more instruction. I'm going to run a defense now and be more disciplined. Okay, I want to run at this defense because they've got yellow cards. They are tired as well. And our players are fitter. Right? So we got Gigo now. Finds Gue. We got Alexi. Mbemba. We're passing the ball nicely. Keeping the ball. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 players waiting for this. So now I don't know what ball into box. We're going to pass into space. I see all these players. The only thing I can see is pass into space. And it's another goal. We score a third. I was worried about this formation. Now they're fresh. They brought on substitutes, right? So they got 1, 2, 3. So at this point in time, I don't think this run and defense is going to help me very much. So I'm going to leave this. We're not going to pass into space anymore. We're just going to be a bit more disciplined, hold our shape. We don't really need to chase the game. So these guys can become wide center backs on defense. They'll stay locked into that position. We got these players attacking the channels. So this should be fine. Yeah. We can from the 80th minute onwards, we should be fine. I shouldn't find ourselves exposed too much. I mean, I can't say much about corners, but yeah, so far we're doing okay. Gigo with the ball finds and good. Their focus play really works beautifully for this system, as you can see. We've got passing options, and Gunda gets away, and now that's not very good for them. They're down a man. So I took that 4-2-4. If I hadn't changed to this formation, I'm pretty certain I could have lost, right? Because this change is putting more pressure on their formation. Now their wingbacks have a problem coming up the pitch. So sometimes you can make certain tactical changes or some slight changes to your tactic to give yourself a chance to put more pressure on the opposition. The goal here has to be making it harder for the other formation to create goal scoring opportunities. So you disrupt the way they play. If I'm looking at what's happening with the way we're playing, I'm actually kind of happy if I've gone to the data. I know it's only 4 games. I shouldn't be too excited about this. Actually, I'm not. I'm only looking for several pieces of information. 1, shots on target ratio. I want my majority of shots to be on target. I'm playing a low tempo system. Nearly 60% of my shots on target. This is what I want. It means that the keepers are forced into making saves. All I need to make sure is I've got the right kind of players in front to score those kind of goals, and that's reflected by our goals per game. Overall, we have about 60% possession, but I'm not really bothered with that. I know there's some games which creeped up all the way to 80%. Some games we got 70%. Of course, that last game we only had 50%, but who cares, right? At the end of the day, I want the 3 points. Now, the goal behind this show was to show you the kind of changes that you can make with your tactics with a couple of simple team instructions. Surprisingly enough, these team instruction changes, I tend to do them for all kinds of tactics. So it's not like, oh, this tactic needs a specific set of team instructions, or maybe that tactic needs a specific set. No, as long as you understand what the team instructions do, it should be fine. FM has changed over the years. It used to be a simple tactic, block it in, come back, make coffee, tea, win title. SI never like that. They want people to think that, they feel like they're managers, right? So over time, the game has changed. Now, the AI manager makes tactical changes too. I'm hoping that this, gives you some ideas. And of course, I want to hear from you too, because there are other matches that are coming for Marseille. They've got some tough Champions League matches as well. So if you're wondering, are there any different kinds of changes that I might be making for those kind of games? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe there'll be a second episode for this series. Meanwhile, you guys, please stay safe during the holidays. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.